it's somewhere.
It looks like medicine.
Yeah. But I guarantee you won't be able to see none of that.
Not today.
No. Because of trees. McCurtain County, Inland Territory, 1900. Those are all native, short-leaf pine. You see guys riding through the forest, if you will, notice all the fire scars, blackened trunks, fires, relics fire. And from what I know, I would say that probably hasn't been burned in a couple of years, because you got a bunch of reef rafts coming up that are about head high, things like that. If you look at it, look at the grassy understory, look how open things are. Here and there. How many of y'all went to OSU or no OSU? Campus, 1894. That's Old Central. That's, you're probably sitting there looking, this guy was probably eating at Hideaway at the time. That's about where it looks at to me. Ain't that right, his name?
That's about right.
Yeah, so they're probably sitting there eating pizza and fishing real quick. And, you know, you look at it, man, that's amazing. So, this don't cost you anything, this is pretty extra. So, do you know why OSU is in Stillwater? That's not a joke, this is a true story. So the territorial governor and territorial committee to develop the A&M college was visiting two places. To put it, Stillwater and Perkins. That was the two choices. They stopped at Stillwater first. The story goes, they dined the group with champagne and prairie chickens. And they didn't make it any further than that. That's where all they went, and that's where OSU ended up at, instead of Perkins. Prairie chickens live on prairies. You know, doing that. You know, there's other, you know, this is old bridge over at Ripley South, you know, still southeast Stillwater. At 1909, there's no bridge pilings are still there. You know, looking at the things are there. Even closer by here, you know, Fort Reno, this is near Darlington. You know, and again, that's our legacy. We started putting everything out. You know, you gotta put it out. But even again, look in the background of what little background you can see and what do you not see. So, you know, what it's done, ignoring the past has brought us to the future. And that's our future, right? Anybody see anything like that around here? Nah. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we get. You know, again, you know, just short-term changes. You know, them openings get big. You know, the question always just be, are those changes reversible? Yeah, we can reverse it. Sometimes it's going to be difficult, it's going to be expensive, because, you know, the cost of doing nothing is a lot. You know, that's what's always said. So, you know, how do we do that? You know, what kind of future do we have? You know, fire's got to be a big part of it. How do we reintroduce fire back into a culture that has lost fire? You know, again, we got to empower people to do that. That's what we've been doing. Scott's going to talk a little bit about that too. Burn associations and things that we've got going on. You know, that's one of our best parts of our future. Unfortunately, we do live in a state that does still have a good fire culture. We burn more in this state. Us in Kansas burn the most, and then Florida's right in there with us in Georgia. You know, we actually, you know, if you didn't know it, we burn about 1.5 million to 2 million acres a year, every year in Oklahoma. That's intentionally burned. You know, but what do you hear about? You hear about the 100,000 acres that get burned annually by wildfires. 120. You know, it went up in the last 2 years. It used to only be 50,000 acres a year. About 120,000 last 2-year average. 120,000 acres, that's what we hear all about, and that's what we pour all the money into. And we intentionally set fire to almost 2 million acres every year. But you don't hear about that on TV, do you? So, Being from the university, I have to use grass. You know, that's a requirement in all my talks. You know, you gotta do, so this is grass. So why should we use fire? And especially prescribed fire? And that's the important part of it. You know, why we should do that. Because again, without fire, we're there. With fire, we're there. So the question is, where's there at, right? Well, scientific as I can be, that's where we're at. And I can't remember the name of that creek, but it's something, and that's where we're going to be at. But if we use fire, we're going to be, you know, we'll be rolling up it. Without it, with fire, we got a little motorboat, and we can just travel on downstream and get out of here. You know, so that's as scientific as I can be about it. So, what do we do to fire? You know, again, is fire the silver bullet? No. But as humans, we're always looking for the silver bullet, aren't we? I mean, that's the way it's always been. You're always looking for this silver bullet, you know, the ultimate wheat seed, the ultimate fertilizer, the ultimate additive, the ultimate breeding pattern. You know, everybody's always wanting the silver bullet, and everything's always advertised as that. Fire's not, I'm not going to tell you fire's a silver bullet, but I'm going to tell you it is a bullet. And so load your weapons, preferably high-capacity magazines, and start shooting, because fire frequency is the key. As we learned historically, the more fire you put on the ground, the better things become. Not only for the land, not only for livestock, but for wildfire prevention, for human health. How many of y'all suffer from allergies to cedar trees? How many people right now, eyes are bothering you, and we're fixing to get really good, because I've been noticing all the cedars are turning brown as they can get right now. They're fixing to bust open here in a couple of weeks. We get rid of that. That's asthma, that's allergies, that's all that, that's human health issues. Water quality, water quantity. There's all kinds of issues that can be improved and can be done. And we got to remember, nothing that we do mimics fire. You know, there's no herbicide out there that mimics what fire can do. There's no mechanical treatment out there that can mimic what fire does. Yeah, you can go in and cut all the cedars you want mechanically, and what if you do nothing? I will guarantee you within 8 to 10 years you were back exactly where you were at when you started. But if you put one fire through there in that time period, guess what? You're going to be rolling way back, knocking stuff back. And so, again, that's what a lot of times we get into the details about worrying about, oh, if I burn, what about this, what about that? Man, go burn something. Just try it. See what happens. See what things to do. And so let's look at fire effects right quick and look and see what can we do with fire now in the things that we do. So, we're going to take a little tour real quick. Just look at sand shinnery oak. Anybody know what sand shinnery oak is? Shorter statured oak. It's a shrub. Grows in western Oklahoma, eastern Texas Panhandle, western Texas Panhandle, New Mexico. Actually, the largest, if they consider it a tree, the largest contiguous oak forest is in western Texas Panhandle and eastern New Mexico. There's 5 million acres of shinnery oak out there. Just about that tall. It's all this green area, fine green area in western Oklahoma is where we find shinnery. Sandy soil, like sandy soils, it don't grow anywhere else but sandy soils.